podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me, as always, is Ben Slinger.
Hello. We're back from the Global Game Jam. This is our first episode after recording it. You've obviously heard one since.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a good time, and you can check that out in our post-mortem episode that went up last week. Man, this recording ahead of time is confusing. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, but we're not even like the way it was beforehand, which is like 2 or 3
we don't even have
behind.
A buffer. But anyway, yes. Welcome to the show. I think we're going to play some Click Pitch. Click Pitch is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us, and on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we'll get a new word each, throw them at each other, catch them, jam them together, and so I don't know how we're going to jam them together if we're throwing them to each other. One of us should be the designated jammer. Anyway, and
I'll alley-oop it.
and then we're going to make a game design from that. So I think let's get started. 3, 2, 1, click.
Let's get it started. Yes.
Instinct. This is...
Oh, yes-anding.
I was about to say, this is an improv game. I mean, improv is a distinctly non-computer thing.
Yep.
So that would be hard to simulate in any way. But we could, I don't know, we could do some sort of multiplayer improv thing with like real life crowd, real life audience who like can throw things into the scene, like actual props. Like if you're doing it in VR, you've got people on screen in VR and then people in the audience on their computers or like from, watching on Twitch. And it could be a very Twitch friendly game because you could vote to like have particular prompts or throw things on. So like the people on the stage will just literally like a fish will fall into the scene and they have to just run with it.
Yeah, but if it gets really, really popular, then 13,000 props dropping onto the stage isn't going to be...
You'd have to have some sort of voting system for like, all right, a prop's going to drop in, 10 seconds and everyone gets to vote on what it is.
Okay.
That'd be fun. That'd be cool. There's a lot, like, we know that VR can be very expressive. You're just obviously tracking the hands and the head, but you've got the voice performance, and I don't know, I feel like you could do pretty cool stuff with VR improv.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it would actually work as such. Like, you'd have to have pretty good inverse kinematics. The people who are actually performing would have to have a lot of space.
Yes.
And even then, like,
it's a performance. It's a performance-based, you'd have to have the people who are... It's the same sort of people who have fucking, like, full streaming setups at home. It's like the Twitch streamer. They're going to have space. Mm-hmm. They're going to have space to perform. And yeah, inverse kinematics, that's fine. People have done that.
You're going to need, like, one of those full tracking suits so that you can actually, bob down and all that stuff.
No, because that's where the IK comes in, because you track the head position. If it goes too close to the ground, then they're crouching. It doesn't have to be a full body performance. You can do a lot of... hell, we do improv here every week with no body performance.
Unsuccessfully.
So. Speak for yourself. Fine, but if you're not into it, I just thought it was cool.
We do seem to have occasionally a few no buts in there. We need to start working on our yes-anding more from my side.
You can say no, you just, as long as you accept the premise and like, or at least make it better, then we're good. All right. 3, 2, 1, click. Spirit.
Acronym.
Oh, God.
Okay, so now we've got to come up with a backronym for spirit.
Yeah, okay. I won't go political. I don't know if you've been reading up on the fucking US, Iowa caucuses and stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No,
it's fine. We're not going down that route.
It didn't happen in this world, so yay, let's keep it. Yeah. Let's keep it all
right,
up.
Spirit. Acronym. What is Spirit? Is like an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy priests in.
Oh.
Okay, no, start over. Summoning parents if
into trysts.
Summoning parents in robes into trysts. It's a swingers club. It's a swingers corporation. It's like the new app to find. No, try again.
I do like summoning.
Summoning.
Poltergeists.
Okay. Spirit. That makes sense. Summoning
into rich inbred.
Into rich. Well, I mean, if this is a company summoning poltergeists in information right in time, they're not very grammatically correct, but they needed to force it into the acronym. And it's a corporation who gets information through ghosts. They summon poltergeists to ask them questions. It's kind of like Google. So
now poltergeists are the more crazier sort of
true. So it's not easy.
Ghosts.
It's not easy. This is a corporation or an organization, at least. Maybe they may be non-profit, who to find out things about history tracks down poltergeists, calms them down, puts them at peace, and then before they go, they're like, "Hey, so what was Jesus really like?" And then they sell that information.
Okay, so in this game, you're a new hire to the company.
Yep.
And one of the owners of the company seems to do a lot of work all on his own. And you find out that he's actually using these poltergeist summonings for other means, which is usually to kick rich people out of their neighborhoods so that he can buy up the land for really, really cheap and then redevelop it.
Okay. All right. I like this idea that this was started as, someone took this ghostly research, turned it into this organization to for the good of mankind, find out things about history. The new CFO of the company, who's just taken over, is instead of finding the oldest poltergeists that have been around for centuries, who are the ones that previously they'd been tracking down to get this actual useful information, he's finding the ones that died 2 weeks ago, and then finding secrets about basically using their information to then fuck with people and get dirt on people in the current time.
And a la the end of Poltergeist, where the whole house gets sucked inside itself and disappears.
Yep.
He uses that ability
to hide evidence
of the poltergeist. No, to clear the land without having to call a construction company to knock it all down.
As a destruction crew, a demolition crew. And he changes the name of the company to SPDRIT, and it's not an acronym anymore, but he doesn't care because he's an idiot. Spudrit. Summoning poltergeist demolitions right on time. He changes it to proper grammar as well. Spudrot. He just calls it Spudrot for long.
Oh god, that's pretty funny. I do like the idea of clearing houses just with the innate poltergeist ability of sucking a house.
All right, so maybe it's not even the information thing for him. Maybe it literally is just he transports them to the land that he wants to buy, makes them scare the previous occupants out, and then works them up so much that they just demolish the house and it's gone. And then he's like, "Yep, all right, sell the land to a developer."
Yeah, but you find out right at the end that sometimes he couldn't scare the people away. It didn't stop the demolition crew happening anyway. So there's people stuck in the nether. Right. They were in the houses.
They were in the house when that happened.
When it got sucked inside itself.
All right, so we've got the story. What sort of game is this? Because we make games on this podcast.
Do we?
I mean, occasionally when we can come up with something that fits in with our high concept story ideas.
Bitstorm, the high concept story idea podcast, where occasionally we make games.
Yeah. Is this who do you play? Are you that's the villain, presumably? Well, we said you're a new recruit brought in to talk to these poltergeists. So you're a ghost whisperer.
Okay, so I'm seeing this as a 1990s full motion video sort of point and click.
Cool, love it. Yeah,
almost along the lines of Spycraft, the great game.
Okay, never
I know
played
I go into that well.
That's okay.
Every
Every 50 episodes or so.
50, 60 episodes or so. You know, having some basic
I thought it was
puzzles
the
as well
okay
as,
game.
Yeah, so having some basic puzzles, having like investigation time of you know, being able to talk.
So you're saying you've got so you've got like a scene, like a room that you're in, because I didn't play Spycraft. What sort of area were you able to like move around in at any time?
You weren't able to move around. It was more a single scene sort of thing with a
bunch of clues around that you could like
a bunch of clues, and then also full motion stuff happening in between, which took up a lot of the space on the CD.
Yeah, sure. On the how many CDs?
3.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't quite this 7 or 8 that like the X-Files game or whatever came on.
Yep. Or the what was it, 7 that Phantasmagoria came on, and
which is funny to think now, considering that's like 5 gigabytes. And
if it's on a single DVD.
half the game is like 90 gig to download. All right, cool. And then, that leads to some cool, dodgy green screen, ghostly stuff. I know often, actually, like, poltergeists aren't often corporeal, as such, but maybe as you, like, calm them, they come into a sort of more traditional corporeal ghost.
I'm just imagining that awesome, you know, hyper pixelated, not real looking FMV chair that moves across the completely digital room.
So we're even sticking with the like 90s style resolution. It's all in like
hell yeah,
maximum 640 by 480 or something.
That's what made the FMV games like really good. I don't think you could do a good FMV game today.
Let's click again. Innocent.
Supplementary.
Supplementary innocent.
I mean, I keep on going to the lotto and
these supplementary numbers.
Yeah, supplementary numbers. And then you've got like a crime that's occurred there.
Okay.
So
someone trying to rig the lotto ends up in murder.
I didn't say murder, but if you want to go to murder, then we can go to murder.
This is feeling particularly murderous.
Do you want that you've been framed for the crime, and therefore you've got to try and prove your innocence?
Yes, I think you play the person who like shows off the little lotto balls as they come out.
Yep.
And somehow the evidence points to you being the only one who could have tampered with it, but you know you didn't.
Yep. Although you have been having these small blackouts.
I don't know. I kind of would prefer that it's like a real good true mystery. There's no clue how this happened, and we come up with some clever way that like they managed to put some sort of chemical on your hands that like dissolved the fake number off the ball, or like managed to write the number onto the ball that they wanted somehow through like chemical means, and so it literally actually was you that did it. You just didn't know that you were doing it.
Yeah. Now there's actually a movie that came out about a lotto heist that actually happened, in which, if I remember rightly, they actually managed to get a hold of the lotto numbers before they left the factory, inject some
of the lotto balls. Yep.
Of the lotto balls, they managed to inject something into the balls so that they didn't fly up as high.
Yeah.
Therefore, the only ones that would actually get picked were the lighter ones.
Was it a true story? Or wasn't that actually happened?
It was a true story.
Yeah.
That actually happened.
Yeah. I remember hearing something about it.
This idea of having the different numbers based off a chemical. But again, how they managed to get at the balls were they went to the factory where they were being made.
Right.
And like bribed people there. But of course, you know, as far as the lotto is concerned, the only person that's touched the balls other than like the lotto agent or whatever is yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. All right. I'm thinking, basically point and click adventure-ish in its tone. Do we do it like...
But first person shooter and it's...
Well, I was almost thinking, do we do it VR? Because there's something interesting about like solving a crime that you're framed for, where you're literally playing, like from that person's eyes. You're having to really look at the people who are accusing you. I feel like that would give some good empathy towards the actual character.
Oh, definitely. as we've just found, and you've just found out about like how we found developing for VR.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's fun and
everything is fun in VR.
Yeah.
Like our old catchphrase is true.
Even being framed for a hotolice. A hotolice.
And I'm keeping that in.
Lotto heist.
So are you actually having to do like the demonstration of the balls?
Well, I think so. I think that's almost how it starts.
It's a performative aspect of it.
Yeah, like you've got you see the cameras in front of you. You've got the little blowing globe of lotto balls next to you, and you see it, pop out the top or whatever and get brought down, and you have to pick it up and show the camera, put it into its spot. And I wonder if you even see, because obviously the first time the camera sees the number on the ball is when you put it down. I wonder if you can get a glimpse that like the ball that you picked up is not the same number that went down or something. But obviously you've got no way to prove that. It's just another way of showing the player that like, no, you've been like something's going on here. Although that might be getting the game pretty early. Maybe it's just an Easter egg because most people wouldn't actually be noticing that.
So how do you actually get caught is my question. How do you get caught that you're like involved in this thing?
So I think they realize that because maybe they might be, let's pretend there's an audit they do afterwards and they check all the balls and they find that there are doubles.
Yep.
There's two.
And
of,
then when they
there's
search
two,
your
there are
dressing
two
room.
of the numbers that came up.
Yep.
And I wonder if maybe it doesn't happen right away. Maybe there's like one, Division 1 winner and they won $50 million or something, and either something shifty about it when they pick it up or about the way that they get it transferred, or just whenever there's a certain amount that goes out, like they have to do a full audit. But I feel like it's been weeks later,
How about they know that there were two winners on this thing? One has come forward and claimed the prize, but the other one is still unclaimed. And then when they search your dressing room, they find the missing winning ticket. And that's what, really leads them to you.
But why? So why have the people done that? Who actually did? Oh, you're saying that they're the other person who claimed it.
Yeah, they're the other person that claimed it.
Okay, so they've basically sacrificed like $25 million, but they're being ultra cautious.
Yeah,
it's to get you off
they
there.
knew that they had to take the heat away from them.
Yeah, would they get to keep it in that circumstance? I guess we'd just come up with some like throwaway law that like if they've picked it up before it's like you can't take it back or something.
Yeah, some weird crap like that.
Yeah, like if they can pick it up, but because it's before the audit, it's already in their bank account and you can't, something. So that's actually part of what's suspicious is like the other person came forward like 15 minutes after. Yeah. Which, almost never happens or something like that. But it probably does. I don't know anything about Lotto. Particularly,
I think by law they have to like wait a day or so and wait till they actually, because you can't just go into like the normal like news agent and go, I want to claim my $50 million win.
Yep, it's hundreds. Okay, we've just restocked the till.
Yeah, I believe with big winnings, especially in Australia, the Lotto department actually contacts you by phone and organises for you to come in.
Oh, I'm sure there's something formal around it. All right. I like that. And so, obviously it's about clearing your name. And I guess it just becomes a bit of a, go around and find clues and do your own side investigation without kind of making the bloody feds suspicious.
I like the idea of having to like pop the hood on your hoodie so that, you sort of sulk inside it. Your face has been blasted all around the news and therefore you don't want to.
So that's like an action you can do at any time in VR. Yeah. Reach behind you, pull your hoodie up, pull it back down. Yeah. That makes sense.
I've always liked that part of the movie where someone goes into a newsagent and, they're all goes into a shop.
Yep.
And on the TV behind is their face being plastered all over the thing.
And so you pop up the hoodie.
Yeah. And so the idea being that, you maybe draw a mustache on yourself so it looks different.
I was picturing this as a woman the whole time. Maybe slightly
that's what makes it even funnier.
Because
that's what makes it even funnier when she draws a black mustache on her.
So are there stealth aspects to this?
You get to draw it on the screen itself.
It's just like, it just comes up, you're at the mirror, it just says disguise yourself. And you like reach out and draw it on the mirror, but that's what actually gets drawn on your skin. You can do whatever you like.
Oh God.
So yeah,
are
there like stealth sort of aspects to this then? Or is that more just a narrative kind of little Easter egg of pulling the hoodie up?
I think the pulling the hoodie up does have some stealth aspects in that it's harder dice roll effectively for the people to notice.
Yeah.
Like they've got to have higher perception.
Okay, but I guess it's like, how does that change? Is this just like, is this a game where you're kind of walking down streets and into buildings and going around through a lot of people and so sometimes there will be people there who have higher perception? Or, yeah, is it more of, because like if there's only one or two scenes where you go into any public place, like having a whole behind the scenes dice roll like perception system is probably overkill.
When you could just script it.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about script, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I like it.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
3 to 1 click.
3 to 1 click.
Panel.
Sack. All right. Panel made me think of like an interview panel, perhaps. Like a panel show.
Yep.
Or a panel of...
I was thinking also like in like old Victorian mansions, you know, you've got those sort of wood panels on the bottom of walls and that sort of stuff that maybe you could hide things in.
In a sack?
Yes.
I was going sack as in like to be fired, but that's too much like the previous game. So sure, let's go physical burlap sack. Okay. Can we come up with a mechanic? Can we come up with a game mechanic based around hooking the sack around things? I think not VR this time.
No.
Because you need a bit more sort of like accuracy than that.
So what I'm thinking is many years ago, your great grandfather was
an onion farmer.
No, I was thinking more a famous jewel thief sort of thing.
Okay, and you're an onion farmer. I'm just trying to think of where they got this sack.
Well, I'm thinking that they went to steal these jewels from this Victorian manor and then weren't able to get out in time, so they hid it behind a panel in a sack.
Okay.
Because it turns out all onion farmers are like fantastic cat burglars.
I mean, they have to be agile to like peel those onions without crying.
So I think you're going through your great grandfather's stuff, a la Goonies, in the attic, and they find like an old diary of like the grandfather who was writing that for many years he's been trying to get back into that Victorian manor, but could never come up with a convincing story to get in there. All right, and he leaves it to you, his grandson.
Okay, so is this like a stealth game then? Like what's the gameplay? What are we thinking? Platformer? I'm
thinking stealth, but how you've actually got into the house is that you've managed to fall in love or at least faking it with the new owner of the Victorian manor. So basically you're running a ruse sort of thing just to try and get in the house.
You're a grifter.
Yeah.
You're grifting.
So I'm wondering if there's like grifting mechanics that you can...
Grifting mechanics?
Yeah.
Do they work anything like drifting mechanics? Tap the left bumper.
Kick out the arse.
Kick out the other way. Blue sparks. You're grifted. I don't know how grift mechanics would work. Like they're very... like you've got, I guess you could have different grifts at different times that you can, I just don't know how, you never repeat a grift on the same person, so.
Well, what I'm thinking is there's actually more lying mechanics that you've got to.
So it's like dialogue puzzles almost.
Hit certain notes. Yeah, dialogue puzzles, but, with actual almost Guitar Hero-like mechanics in that you're having to, hold to the left and, as you hit A and hold to the right as you hit B. And
okay. I'm trying to picture how that would work.
I'm thinking it's more about, how you hold yourself because you're bad at lying. And so when you start lying, you get all nervous and your palms get sweaty. So therefore...
It's just like trying to prevent all your tells. You've got like 37 tells. They just keep cropping up. I was more thinking, I wonder if you could do some dialogue puzzles where, it's a series of choices, right? And you'd probably have to have some good writing for this. I don't know how maybe it's too much dialogue to have to write. But as you kind of hone in on convincing them of whatever you're trying to convince them, like maybe different dialogue options change color or something, or you've at least got a little like you're getting warmer, you're getting colder kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And basically you're sort of working your way through this branching dialogue to the outcome that you want.
Yeah.
From a writing perspective, that would be tricky, but from a gameplay perspective, I feel like that could be interesting, where it's sort of like you don't want to say something that, well, because you're trying to convince them you're a particular person, right? Like,
yep.
So if you say something that's incongruous to that, then they get a little bit suspicious, and so you have to like bring them back a bit before you'll get there or something.
Yeah.
It could even be over time. It could even be not just in one dialogue. It's more of a system around, if you do really well in your first conversation with this manor owner, then they're going to trust you more later on if you slip up. But if you do poorly and only just manage to get them across the line, then like you could fuck it up later much more easily.
What I do like is later on in the game, you find out like at one stage, this whole house has been renovated.
Has been renovated or
been renovated, and maybe the panel or the sack of jewels have actually been discovered.
Oh yeah,
and used to actually pay for more of the restoration sort of thing.
Either that or, and this has a slight similarity to a late game twist we brought into a different game from a few weeks back, but either that or you find out that the renovations just mean that certain landmarks in the house have shifted. And so the reason you haven't been able to find this sack is because you were basing it on the layout post-renovation, and it was
not pre.
It was written pre-renovation, and so you need to like find the renovation plans and sort of backtrack and go, oh, this panel, or this particular, built-in fireplace or whatever that in the renovation they meticulously pulled apart and put back together in a different room for some reason. That was part of the clues, like part of the map to it, was actually over in the drawing room and not the study, which are basically the same thing. But
I like
there's
that.
probably lots of them. That's cool. That could be cool. And then, do you fall in love with this person and regret it?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think that always has to happen in like a con person movie, a grifter movie.
But this is one of those times when they find out and they go, ew, no. You get kicked out.
Well, maybe it depends on how well you've convinced them.
Turns out the entire time they've been grifting you, and they've actually been, penniless and broken.
The 360 grift. The Tokyo grift. Fast and the Furious Tokyo grift. Oh my god. 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to salvage that anymore. Bridge.
Pen.
I feel like this is a physics-based game set in like a classroom.
Okay.
Oh, is this a game where you have to make one of those like contraptions to make sure that the egg drop challenge that they sometimes do in high schools or whatever?
So it starts out like that, and it's kind of like, one of those bridge constructor games or poly bridge or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just crazier and crazier, like science inventions that.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of a narrative backdrop on that as well. It's like we introduce some characters and they're doing this egg drop challenge, and when you pass it with flying colors, it's like, all right, you're going on to like the state championships, and now it's not an egg, now it's a watermelon. And so but then the rest is just physics, like it's this physics, like polybridge style gameplay. You've got a certain amount of resources, like fucking pipe cleaners and construction paper. You learn different.
We're going to drop this
stuff.
72-inch TV.
Yeah, well, that's the Nationals. That's the Nationals, and by this time there's a romance going on between some of the team members. Maybe a teacher who's shitty that you need to play pranks on, and that's like a mini submission where you get to build like a catapult out of your pipe cleaners. or a trebuchet, even cooler. And then you go to like the global
Game jam.
get your mind out of the gugaja. The global drop, the global drop challenge. The GDC. Fuck.
Game developers conference. Hang on.
Where it's like it's a bus that they're dropping. From, the Empire State
From the moon.
From the moon. They fire it towards Earth. It's wrapped in. You have to have built a self-wrapping, like self-shielding contraption, still only out of pipe cleaners and construction paper and straws, and toothpicks, some cotton wool.
And then in some, like, Ender's Game-like twist, it turns out that all these things that you've been creating have actually been used for this war.
Oh my God. Yeah. They've actually used your ingenuity and translated it into like this high-tech, shielding technology.
Because it turns out that
you're actually in like a Matrix-esque.
The reason why you're only allowed to use pipe cleaners and stuff like that is because it turns out that in the original Voyager spacecraft there are only pipe cleaners and that sort of stuff.
Well, I was thinking it's somehow like somehow
on board to.
I was thinking somehow those are the only things. Like you're actually in like a Matrix style virtual world. It's the year 4272, and the aliens have enslaved you. And pipe cleaners and construction paper and straws and toothpicks are the things that map most naturally to their, like, elements. And so when you come out of this world, you see something that looks vaguely like the thing you built to protect a bus from fucking smashing into Earth, but it's all, like, high-tech looking shields and force fields and
what you've actually been stopping is the human uprising. From...
the revolution.
Just to really fuck with it, like you're a human child who's now like quashed the human revolution.
Totally.
And
exactly.
And helped the aliens win. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. And you got laid in the meantime. And found love. Not with the same person. Twist. Alright, fridge on quick.
Fetch.
Access. Okay, my mind went to some sort of game where you have a dog as a buddy.
Yep.
And one of the things that they can do is like steal access cards from people. Like that's a minor part, but that's where my mind went to a scene of like telling your dog to sneak up to a guard and like gently take their access card from their belt.
But you play the dog.
You play the dog. Okay, yeah, all right. Stealth dog.
Yep.
But I like the idea that you're not the hero. You are you are the pet dog.
Yep.
Helper of some sort of secret agent or something.
This guy is somewhat incompetent, and without you, the whole thing wouldn't actually happen. So therefore, he tells you to do something.
You're like the brain to his Inspector Gadget.
Exactly.
Maybe it's literally brain and
Inspector Gadget. Yeah.
Why not?
So you get to do disguises and shit.
Or the Wallace or the Grommet to their Wallace.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Silent protagonist.
Yeah, silent protagonist, actually the kind of sensible one, but limited by their dogness. Okay. That's cool.
That is.
How anthropomorphic are you? Not at all? Are we thinking full-on dog?
I was thinking full-on dog, but now that we're sort of going down the cartoon route, I kind of don't mind the idea of most of the time when you're around your human, you're dog.
Yeah.
But then when you're out of sight, then you can all of a sudden stand on two legs and
right.
And,
you still can't talk, but you can like mime things.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. All right. So I'm sort of picturing like obviously like third person. Like action platformer ish,
yeah,
like a bit of a Ratchet and Clanky vibe, or
Uncharted, or
yeah. And so you're doing things Like, yeah, you'll come to an area and it's like, okay, this area is blocked off and there's a hole here that only the dog can go through and there's an area there that only the human can climb up on or whatever, you know, or it's go gadget legs or something. And yeah, it's figuring out how to solve that. And yeah, I like the idea that you're human in any area, like you don't really have control over them. You're going around trying to figure out how to get them through the area. You know, you might, in that Uncharted sort of way, like you'll have narrative going on and scripted stuff and different things and get exposition about what's happening as you're like going around this level and progressing through puzzles.
Yep.
But yeah, mostly it's just sort of up to you to figure it out and like open doors and things and steal stuff and distract people.
What else do you see happening in this game? Do you actually see that you've got other missions coming through from like Dog Command?
Yeah, I guess it depends on who's in control here. Is this, you know, going down the Inspector Gadget route and you are just ostensibly kind of the pet dog of this agent? Maybe that's
like a larger.
Maybe that's a turn, like a third of the way through the game. You know, you've done a couple missions and then you get your next mission. It's like you're doing a great job in shadowing, you know, this. Maybe you're actually not on their side. Maybe you've been sent in to gain their trust, this secret agent, because they know that they're bumbling, and the dogs want to bring them down for some reason.
I kind of like the idea that the head dog is just named God, because it's dog backwards.
Sure. Their human thought it was hilarious. It's one of the reasons that he hates humans so much. Also one of the reasons he has a God complex. Thinks that he can pull this off.
But I kind of like the idea that that's a turn that you don't necessarily want to follow. You know, you've got a good rapport with your human, so you can choose to side with the humans because what the dogs are asking you to do is going to wipe out all humans, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, I think by this point you've actually become fond of your pet human, and you don't want to put them down. And so, yeah, you turn against your employers and help the humans.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
That's cool. Let's click again. Yeah. Lid.
Supervision.
Okay, lid supervision.
So I kind of like the idea of taking it rather than the single word of supervision to super space vision.
Okay, sure. Supervision. That's more interesting.
Yeah. So you're a superhero whose only skill is that he can see through lids.
See through lids. So like anyone whose kids have ripped all the labels off their cans calls this person.
Yeah.
So they know what's inside. It's like, it's peaches. You're welcome. Up and away.
They're all peaches.
His superpower is actually that he can turn anything that's in a can into peaches. But he doesn't want anyone to know that, so he just tells them he can see what's in there, and then he always says
okay, peaches. Then one day he gets contacted by the government, and he gets taken to like a secret facility,
okay,
and he gets asked to look inside these barrels,
okay,
to tell them which one is like the which one is the nuclear waste and which one is like, you know, the harmless sort of stuff.
The coffee grounds that they ordered.
The coffee grounds. So basically they mistakenly misplaced the label. As soon as you identify it, they send in people to come take you out.
Yeah, and then you just hear in the background, where did all these peaches come from? There's supposed to be nuclear weapons in here or whatever. Nuclear waste. No, okay, that's fine. Yeah. And then you have to go through the game using your lid vision to win stuff?
Yeah, I think it's from then on, like, you're on the run from the government and you're able to use your lid/super peach power to get out of this place and, you know, go back to your normal life and
right,
try
so you're kind of like an inadvertent hero on the run. Is this like a first-person shooter or something? Like,
well, I'm seeing if we take it, it's been known for a long time that there's lots of superheroes out there, but everyone has, like, their own set of powers and they're really not good. Like, they're all mundane sort of things.
Okay, it's one of these mundane power situations. All right.
Yeah, but everyone's got mundane powers.
It's like an Ask Reddit thread in real life.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is about getting together a ragtag bunch of powered people.
Yeah.
It's a road trip movie. I mean,
effectively.
not a movie.
Road trip game.
Game.
Getting away at the start is probably the hardest part. Like, you know, even once you're out of there, like they somewhat know because of some registration that happened earlier on. They know what your secret identity is and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're now having to go underground and find the guy who provides a new identity for you, and then you join forces with all these other.
And his power is the power of being able to laminate things with his hands.
Yeah, he can just seal lamination really, really easily.
Yeah. He doesn't even generate he still has to have the plastic.
Yeah. He can just seal it in.
He is good to have around if you've got like an open packet of chips, though.
But he says, yeah, but it really doesn't work. My wife left me because I kept on burning her. Enough said. Okay, so what's caused these powers?
Oh, well, I think at this point it's just a sort of a part of life. Or maybe there was like, I don't know, like standard kind of an alien attack 20 years ago or something. They spread like alien radiation everywhere.
Or I was almost thinking like there was a meteor shower one night.
Yeah, sure. And, that was just less interesting than this history of an alien attack. There's still
I
remnants.
like the idea that,
it's kind of like the aftermath of the New York incident in the MCU, right? There's just like alien artifacts everywhere.
Okay, so the actual reason why the government wanted to take you out is because one of the barrels that you misidentified or that you saw was actually of alien waste. And they don't want anyone to know that it was actually alien intervention that gave everyone their powers.
Oh, okay. There's a cover-up around that. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. And when you say alien waste, you mean feces.
Yes.
That's actually...
Weird shape pooped.
Yeah, but that's actually what has given people the powers. It's that these aliens are so, like, they were so not into humans, they just, like, shit out of their spaceships everywhere.
You know what happens with that stuff, blue ice? You know, where it's actually just frozen shit coming out of planes. Well, this meteor shower was just frozen shit out of
it was basically a bunch of alien teenagers
joyriding.
And they're just like, we're going to shit on this planet.
They just let go the waste all over this city of Shitopolis or whatever it's called.
It was actually Sydney, but in their alien language that meant Shitopolis. Like Sid is their word for shit, Ni is their word for like city, shit city.
Oh god.
So yeah, I like that. I like that road trip. It's a road trip movie, and
what are some of the other dodgy powers? Because I'm pretty sure that everyone else is going to want to know what these ragtag group of people, other than the lemonade dude and the
All right, there's the woman who can, within a 20-meter radius, hang up any mobile phone or maybe turn it off. She can't stop them from just calling right back. They'll get disconnected.
She can cause a disconnect. Okay, there is a guy who is sort of like an empath. Like he can tell the feelings of people around him, but only when they're horny.
Yeah. Love it. And then there's a kid, like a 10-year-old. He can communicate with blowflies. And that's it.
He can't tell them to do anything, but he can communicate.
No, blowflies are assholes. They don't listen to him.
But he can communicate with them and they just tell him to fuck off.
Yeah. Like that noise you hear when a blowy is just like zooming around your room at night and you're trying to find it. It's just like yelling, fuck you.
Fuck you.
And then they're quiet because they land somewhere and you have to wave something around and then they're in the air again and you couldn't hit them. Fuck you.
And one more power, the kid who can eat as much fast food as he likes and never get fat.
Yeah. Little does he know, it'll all come back when he hits 36 and 2 months and he's going to explode.
Well, his arteries are just going to clog up instantly.
Yeah, it's basically he
massive coronary.
Well, no, he basically has like a time space portal inside his belly and doesn't know it. And so he's actually transporting all of this food into one place in time and space in the future.
And it so happens that
still
as
inside
right as his Riders is sitting down to like have a bite of KFC. At that time, every single meal that he's ever had, like all gets
all gets transported into his stomach at once.
And that scene from Meaning of Life where the guy is really, really big and explodes.
Yeah.
That exactly happens.
But as fate would have it, he also, in that one act, cures world hunger. He wasn't very good at chewing. I mean, maybe the portal was pretty close to his throat, and so he just like put all that food in there whole. It's fresh.
Okay, so he could eat as much fast food as he liked, but he was never satiated by it.
Yeah.
Oh god, that is awesome. 3, 2, 1, click.
Roundabout.
Base. BASE.
Okay. This is set at the 5 Ways.
Okay, for those people out there that don't know Mooroolbark in the surrounding area, there is a roundabout system in Mooroolbark called 5 Ways. It is 5 streets that sort of come into a single intersection, and there's 3 roundabouts in a row. And for people who have never seen it before, the scariest thing to drive through, because like, oh my god, how the hell does this work? But once you're
used to it, it's actually very efficient.
Yeah, works really, really well.
Yeah,
but yeah. Okay, there's a secret base in the middle roundabout.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a Get Smarty sort of
it's like under the ground.
They step into the middle of the garden bed and like touch the third rose.
The only way you can trigger it is by like driving around the 5 ways in the correct combination. It's like from roundabout 1 to 2 to 3, then back to the middle lane of 2, and then come back around, do another loop around 3, and then like drive into the middle of the roundabout, and it triggers the thing, and your car gets like lowered down.
I was thinking that you just got to walk to the middle roundabout and touch the third rose, but you've just made it even harder to get in.
Yeah. I mean, it's a secret government base or whatever organization.
I'm thinking, though, what you've just done is people who are, going for a joyride on Saturday night.
Yeah. They accidentally
managed to do it.
All these lights, the lights up and yeah.
And then it's, they've got to use the neuralizer from Men in Black.
Yeah, so what is this base of operations for in the very important area of Mooroolbark, Victoria?
Okay, so I'm picturing it's aliens again, a la your Men in Black, and it's just, it's like the Melbourne version. It turns out that Mooroolbark and surrounding areas are like the hub of alien activity.
I can see that.
For Australia.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me living here.
Yep.
Okay. And so is this sort of a mirror of like the first Men in Black movie? You play like a new recruit. It's basically an Aussie Men in Black.
Yeah.
It's Men in Blundstones.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Men in Blundstones. So that they're not even in black suits. They've just
No. They got like
they're in jeans, flannel shirts, and Blundstones. Yeah. So they really, really fit right in. So the main hub, I think, is actually Churnside.
The main hub of alien activity. Alien activity.
Yep.
Yep.
Because it turns out that Churnside is actually just a crashed spaceship. Now, Churnside is a small shopping centre in Mooroolbark surrounding areas.
The audience for this episode
really don't care.
Is like the smallest it's ever been. Yeah, okay. Churnside is a crashed spaceship. Sure.
That's why it's designed so badly.
That's why it's got underground car parking. That's like the bottom level. And that's why there's a Donut King right near the escalators, because what alien spaceship wouldn't have that?
Exactly. Yeah. And a Wendy's. And a Boost Juice.
Yeah. And you need all of them. The Boost Juice is like the engine of the ship. Wendy is the navigator. And the Donut King is the leader of the alien race.
Yeah. And what's Kmart?
The dog, like their pet. Here, Kmart.
Okay. Men in Blundstones. Okay, what else happens in this game?
Has anything happened in this game? We've set up the scene. Okay, you play the recruit. So Is it that so you're saying that you're one of these joyriders, you accidentally trigger this thing? Or have you detected, like, have you sort of figured out someone's an alien or something? Again,
or maybe you've actually
play a security guard at Churnside.
and you notice something go,
Or maybe not even a
bit
security
weird.
guard. Maybe you play, like, someone working at, like, the Booze Juice.
at Donut King.
Yeah. You're just a low-level employee.
Yep.
And you see this, like, what you think is a little kid come and steal a pink glazed donut. It's not like any donut you've ever seen before. You're like, who made this donut? It's like bizarre. I didn't think we had icing in that color.
And it's got cell shading, so you know that it's like, this just doesn't look,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
it's totally different shader than what the rest of the game is.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
you know that something is up.
Something's up. And so you chase this kid past the price line, down past the Woolies, catch up with him, outside the optometrist, and they turn around. It's like, oh shit, that's not a kid. Like, it's amusingly enough a 4-eyed alien standing outside the optometrist with this donut that's actually like fuel.
Yeah, it turns out the glasses are actually part of their body.
Yeah, they've got one set of eyes and then another set of eyes kind of just
set on their glasses, and you see them blink each one independently of each other.
Yeah. They can like focus through one eye to see. I don't know what the purpose is, but
It's just.
And then this donut was actually like some fuel that was misplaced, and they're trying to basically these aliens have come back. They're trying to like restart the ship. When was
God,
Churnside
it's going
Park
off the rails. But anyway, so I think you've just got brand new sunglasses, and just as they're about to neuralize you, you've just put on your sunglasses, or you've got these brand new sunglasses that are contact lenses. And so it protected you from the neuralizer?
Yep.
Like, I'm picturing that you've got contacts that are actually transitions in lenses.
New transition contacts. Yep. You're at the optometrist. Like, you can foreshadow that with the posters on the wall for like the new tech.
Yeah.
You block
And
the neuralizer.
they don't know that this new tech actually stops the neuralization beam.
Sure. Yeah. So they just assume that, all right, everything's good. And then then you've got a stealth aspect where it's like, okay, now I'm really going to follow.
I'm going to follow them in, and because you followed them in and all that sort of stuff, you get recruited to the Men in Blondestones.
They give you your ceremonial set of bloodstones.
Yep. So now I think the main part of the game isn't actually about Churnside, but it's about Mount Dandenong itself.
Right. The Yarra Ranges or whatever.
Yep.
That area.
The whole of Mount Dandenong is actually a huge sleeping alien.
Oh, the mountain itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Churnside Park was its ship, and then it's been in hibernation, but this particular type of alien like grows while it hibernates because it's like storing energy.
And recently there's been lots of like mini earthquakes around Mount Dandenong.
Sure. Yeah.
And therefore you're now having to go almost on an inner space adventure inside the alien.
Oh God.
But there's no shrinking. It's just that you're that small.
You head right up his Inverness.
So you head inside, and it's all about the reason why there's earthquakes is because he's actually having like a mini coronary.
No, it's just his tummy rumbling. He's finally hungry. He's been there for fucking 50 years. I checked.
No, longer than that.
Well, no, actually 40 years. Churnside was built in 1979. They've used like subtle neuralization. Everyone thinks that Mount Dandenong was always there. It's actually only been there for 40 years.
Okay, so Chris Hemsworth is part of the Men in Blunstones. He's been transferred from...
he grew up in this area.
Yeah, he got transferred from, Men in Black International.
It's the same character. Even.
Same character.
All right, sure.
So he got transferred from the UK back to his hometown, and he's now taking like the role of like Tommy Lee Jones. He's about to actually leave the Men in Blunstones for good, retire, become a major movie actor.
Wait, what's the timeline here?
It's now. He just wants to become a movie actor now.
Oh, I see. Sorry, of course. All right, the Tommy Lee Jones character.
Yeah.
All right, I gotcha. Yeah, that's not too late.
So, I don't know. This has really gone off the rails.
I think that's the title of this episode. Off the rails. Okay, no, I like it. I'm sorry if you didn't grow up in this area, but believe me, it's hilarious. I'm glad this is the last game, because if you'd made it this far, you didn't have to. All right, I think we better finish it up there before we really lose track of this thing. If you want to find us online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. You can find all of our past episodes there. Please leave us a rating, a review, follow us, do all the things. There are lots of things you can do there now. We're also part of the 8-Bit Collective, and this is a group of podcasts about pop culture and other things. Go to 8bit.net, check out a few of those lovely, friendly people who also make great podcasts.
This Friday, 8-Bit 3.0 launches.
Hells yeah, keep an eye out for that, or I hope you did keep an eye out for that. Oh no, you were being clever.
It's in this Friday coming.
This Friday after it airs. Oh look, see, he's figured out the time stream.
And we'd also like it if you would check out the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Just check out at AGP Network on Twitter or the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. And finally, we'd like to thank Kuradust for the use of the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
Millions of peaches. Peaches for me. Millions of peaches. Peaches for free. Come on!